First of all, thank you so much. It's just an honor to be here. Be surrounded by so many other inductees in the Hall of Fame. It's great to see everyone, so many of my former coaches and people who influenced me when I was in high school. I was kind of, I think, like many people here, born into sports. My dad went to Penn State, the GI Bill, after serving in the military, and so every Saturday was Penn State football. My mom, one of 9 kids, the oldest of 9 kids, went to Duke. Her 8 younger siblings went to UNC. So UNC Duke was always a blood feud in our house, and I was born into that. And I think from day one, kind of fell in love with sports. And it made great to me. I had the opportunity to obviously play 3 sports at Cherry Hill East. It was a fantastic part of my high school experience. And then later on, became a coach there. I think kind of very early on, I knew it was something that I wanted to do for a long time. I got a chance to play for Karl Mooney on 3 state championship teams for the boys volleyball side, and later got a chance to coach my sister Carolyn Mooney to a state championship on the girls side. And it was just these are some memories of my life that I will always treasure. But sports gave so much more than that. I think a lot of us understand that sports helped build my character, gave me a sense of confidence in who I am, and also just gave me the opportunity to go out and prove how much hard work can get you to achieve your goals and the things that you dream of. And I think that hard work, all the time and dedication that we spend as athletes to go in, to go perform our sports, it pays off tenfold in the friendships that we make. I have 2 of my close friends, Eric and Danielle, here today, supporting me from high school, and the characters and success we have later on in life. So I do have a couple of quick thank yous to give for people here. Starts with Karl Mooney. Karl is my coach. Oh, give a round of applause. Oh, absolutely, yeah. So Karl not only coached me in soccer, he was kind enough to let me start on the soccer team. That was never my best sport, but I did manage to make my varsity team with him. But also coached me for 3 years in volleyball, and was actually just a gigantic influence on my life as a player, but also as a coach. He's the person who asked me to start coaching. So when I was at Penn, I was a senior, and Coach Mooney reached out and asked me if I would come coach the JV boys team, and I did. I would jump across the bridge, in the afternoons my senior year, that spring and senior year. And I coached the boys team, and man, not a good coach then. I hope I got a little bit better now. But Karl is the one. He didn't teach me one thing, and I'm still working on this. The great secret for Coach Mooney is never got any yellow cards because he was always cursing at the referees in German. That's the way. I tell you, that's the one thing. I never picked it up. So, I pocketed too many yellow cards, unfortunately, over the years coaching the girls. But I'm still working on my German. I think that'll get me out of there. I also think my sister Carolyn. So Carolyn actually is the reason I started coaching the girls team. I had moved away for a while and ended up in Boston, living with my girlfriend, who's now my wife. And Carolyn called and was like, "Hey, we need a coach. Will you come down here and coach us?" So I made some phone calls and found a job, working in finance down here, and started coaching the girls team. And I was like, "I'll probably do this, for a couple of years." And here we are, 19 years later, still coaching the team. So. We got to share it, against a state championship together. It's just a phenomenal memory. Take my brother, Jeff. I think everyone who's played sports understands the concept of sibling rivalry and how much that can push you as an athlete. And when your brother ends up being 6 inches taller than you, your little brother ends up being 6 inches taller than you and about 100 pounds heavier, it really pushes you a lot. So I've got to thank Jeff on that one for helping me be the athlete that I am today, or I was in high school, and being here today. I still don't think to this day that we ever finished a game with one-on-one basketball. I think they always enter with the ball punted down the street, and someone would be like, "No, you get it." So it was a lot of fun. And then, of course, my oldest sister, Mickey, who doesn't like sports at all, and that's the reason that I thank her the most, because she's here today, but she's always there. And I think we really appreciate the support from all the people in the stands and everything else. And my sister, even though she had no interest in playing, we can only hope that your daughter will now start playing and ruin like another 20 years of your weekend. We're gonna push pretty hard for that. But to thank her also for being there. And of course my parents, my mom, who was the quintessential team mom. She was always a de facto team mom, especially when I got through college and continued playing there, because so many of my teammates were from California, the volleyball scene out in California was obviously a little bit bigger. So they weren't around, and my mom was always there, and I swear my mom would drive halfway across the country if a teammate who she met once in her life needed a sandwich. It was just that kind of person. So she picked us up when we got thrown out of the varsity basketball camp for fighting St. Augustine. She was the one that picked all of us up and took us to the Old Orchard Swim Club, and got a chance to hang out there with the boys that day. And it was a lot cooler in there than it was in the gym, that's for sure. And then the last person to thank, of course, and I'll finish here, is my father. You know, my dad was my first coach. He coached me, he was my first coach in every sport. He coached us in soccer. He never played soccer, he didn't really know much about soccer. We were laughing about it, I'm coaching my son now. And we used to watch videotapes. He ordered them, you know, like some catalog or something we had, and he'd watch these videotapes. And my dad would be out there as a man, you know, 40-year-old man who never played soccer before, trying to work on his in and out moves and, like, you know, step overs and everything in the side yard before he'd go and teach us. And I think, you know, that's always one of my, you know, cherished memories all the time. We played soccer and, you know, baseball. And of course, he was the one that got me to play volleyball. He was pushing it for years, and I finally said yeah when I was a sophomore in high school, and that led to a couple great seasons, and, you know, career coaching. You know, now just being a coach, just the opportunity to go back and work with so many of the young women that come through Cherry. At least right now, it's been 19 years and hundreds of girls that have went through, and it's just been a really, really rewarding experience. So I always kind of think back at the coaching to one thing I see. If any of you guys have been to Penn, if you're any basketball fans, you've been to Palestra maybe. I used to remember going to volleyball practice, and there was a little sign there that said, you know, to win the game is great, to play the game is greater, but to love the game is greatest of all. And I think that, you know, we can all agree here, like, sports deeply, deeply impacts all of our lives, and that, you know, we did love the game, and it was the greatest. So, thank you. Appreciate it.